A sharp crack split the quiet night, a sizzling pop, then a scream. Piercing, dramatic, unmistakably Vanessa Reed. It was the most satisfying sound I'd heard in months. Her son's overpriced ATV charger had just exploded into a puff of blue smoke. And me? I was sipping chamomile on my porch, watching karma do its finest work. It didn't start with sparks. It started with a blip. I'm Ethan Carter, systems engineer by trade, grid nerd by nature. My weekends are usually spent in quiet solitude with spreadsheets, solar panels, and the occasional beer. That's why the strange power drain showing up on my inverter logs grabbed my attention. Every night between 1 and 3 a.m., a mysterious 1.88 kWh dip. Not my AC, not the fridge, not even my backup battery system. Something was leaching electricity. At first, I thought I was being paranoid. But then I saw it. A thick yellow extension cord sneaking over the fence, trailing into the bushes on Vanessa's side. I shut off all my outdoor outlets except one the next night. Sure enough, the spike hit again, right on schedule. I snapped photos. It was time to talk. I went to Vanessa's door, calm, respectful. She answered in designer leggings and oversized sunglasses, sipping something green from a mason jar. "Oh, that?" she said, laughing when I mentioned the power theft. "We just needed a little charge. Our panel's down. You've got solar, right? You won't miss it." "That's not how electricity works," I said, trying not to grind my teeth. "You're stealing from my grid. It's illegal." She gave me the classic HOA smirk. "Relax, tech guy. It's not like we're hot wiring your car." I walked away, not defeated, but calculating. I reported it to the HOA. 3 days later, I received a violation letter for hostile neighbor conduct. According to Vanessa, I had rigged the fence to electrocute her kid. I hadn't. But now it was on. I built something, a decoy outlet, completely legal, mounted on my property, disguised as broken. But inside, a surge trip wired to fry anything pulling more than a safe load. It wouldn't hurt anyone, but any greedy charger wouldn't survive. And I made sure it looked just real enough to tempt a repeat offense. 3 nights later, 2:17 a.m., my phone lit up. Surge triggered. A jolt. A scream. Vanessa's son bolting from their yard in pajamas while the ATV sparked like a fireworks show. I smiled and poured myself some more tea. The next morning, Vanessa was stomping across her lawn like Godzilla in a yoga outfit. She waved a half-burnt power cord and shouted about lawsuits. I sipped my coffee. She didn't like that. Instead of backing off, she escalated. She called in HOA enforcer Miles, clipboard in hand, puffed up like a traffic cop on a power trip. "You can't rig shared lines," he said. I told him it wasn't shared. It was my property, my equipment, and totally up to code. He muttered and scribbled notes. I offered him a muffin. He declined. But that wasn't enough for me. I upgraded. Added a data logger hidden inside a fake birdhouse. Cameras went up. The next trap included a small audio cue, just enough to catch her in the act. 4 nights later, boom, round 2. Same flash, same scream, different night. This time, I had it all in crystal clear footage. I marched into the HOA office with a folder of logs, images, and timestamps. Clara, the desk clerk, raised an eyebrow. "She plugged into your line again?" I nodded. "Twice. That's utility theft. Section 8B. She hesitated. Vanessa was protected, but I didn't care. I told her if they didn't act, I'd go to the city and the utility board. That night, Vanessa banged on my door, furious. "What did you do to my ATV?" she shrieked. I smiled, calmly held up the logs. "Maybe stop stealing power. It won't keep happening if you keep trying." Then I closed the door. 3 days later, a police cruiser pulled up. Officer Hayes, calm, professional, said Vanessa accused me of rigging a deadly trap. I showed him everything, the wiring, the footage, the safe design. He chuckled. Looks like theft to me. You're solid. He left. She glared. The HOA, clinging to Vanessa's lies, fined me $500 for hazardous installations. I sent everything, videos, logs, schematics, to the city inspector and the utility company. And then something unexpected happened. Neighbors started approaching me. Luke said his fancy grill kept rebooting. Ellen's lights flickered. The Patels lost hundreds in freezer food. All of them had said yes when Vanessa asked to borrow a little juice. She'd been siphoning from the whole block. We started a group called Shackalad, short for Shock Karen Ladylike, 23 members strong. Everyone began locking outlets, installing traps. I shared my designs. We showed up at the next HOA meeting with binders of proof, photos, logs, cost calculations. Vanessa tried to brush it off. This is all exaggerated. But her own HOA ally Neil froze when we showed his garage's stolen wattage. Vanessa's power was cut, literally and figuratively. Her son's ATV was sold. Her parties ended. The karaoke machine, gone. She even received a subpoena from the city over $1,800 in unpaid electric usage. The utility board launched an investigation. Her name hit community group chats as Power Pirate Vanessa. Eventually, the HOA board was overthrown. Gina, a local firefighter, became president. First order of business? No more utility theft. Vanessa's privileges were suspended. Her influence, gone. One day, she came to my porch. No sunglasses, no smoothie. Just her, looking tired. She said, "I messed up. I thought it was harmless." I replied, "It never is. Not when you take what's not yours." She nodded and walked away. That night, my porch was quiet. My system logs were stable. No dips, no cords, no nonsense. I drank my tea in peace, not out of spite, but out of principle. Because sometimes the best way to stop a parasite is to show them what happens when they plug in to the wrong guy.